Well, thanks for coming. My name's Kev, and I work for Triangle Communications, Hill County Electric, where you guys are at, right? And I have with me today some other employees who are going to share some career highlights about some of the things that we do. First, let's start with Tom, who's back there videotaping us. And why are you videotaping us, Tom?
I'm the digital media specialist here, so I do a lot of video production. I do the web design, all of our social media stuff. So anything, an event like this we do, I videotape it, and I put a short video together, and we throw it out on YouTube. And yeah, that's why I'm videotaping.
So if all of you want to go look later, we might have a little youth activities. Camp Kiwanis Friday, we did some fun things with those kids. And then we have Ben, but Ben's going to introduce himself in a few minutes here, and he's actually going to give you a career highlight. The first thing I want to do is tell you a little bit about our company. So do any of you have services, or do you know what services we provide at these companies that we work for, that we're at right now? I'll give you a hint. Triangle Telephone and Hill County Electric. Electric bills and phone bills. Well, that's part of it. Yeah, because we provide services, and then our members, our subscribers, pay us. So, yeah, that's a pretty good idea. Pardon? Is it a bundle? Yes, we bundle our services, make it more competitive when we do that. You might have internet from us. You might have a cell phone from us. You might have your landline. You might have wireless internet. It's really, really fast. We have different speeds. And then we provide electricity. We deliver it. We don't generate it. We don't create it. But we deliver it to your house. So that's kind of we're your power company. And we service a lot of the rural areas around Hill County. So not the whole state, but definitely the rural areas. And then with Triangle, we service from along the High Line from Chester over to Malta, all the way down to Yellowstone Park, kind of in between Harlowtown. We do Dodson, Hayes. So pretty much all of you guys probably have had or currently have a phone service from us, or maybe your household does where you live. So if you live in Havre, you don't probably have us for phone service, but you can have us for cell phone or our internet. So that's kind of nice. And we're a little bit different than most companies. Instead of putting profit into shareholders' pockets or the owners, we put it into our members' pockets, and we are cooperative. The one thing that I want you to maybe learn or know when you leave today, that what a cooperative is, does anybody have their own definition of a cooperative? Is as in a business model. Cooperation. Cooperation is part of it. It's people coming together to do something that they couldn't do alone. So like today, instead of you guys going out and individually maybe doing these type of projects, you've come together, you've formed a learning cooperative, so to speak. And a lot of schools are cooperatives. I don't know if you've heard of like Bear Paw Cooperative. If they can't hire all the faculty that they need to run a school district, they come together as individuals and say, hey, let's put together an educational cooperative. So that's one of them. And cooperatives can be used for all sorts of different business applications, services, products. It's kind of endless because it's people coming together, and instead of paying somebody to provide their power from a corporation, they say we can do it ourselves, and then they don't have to pay any profit to anybody. And sometimes when there's more money left over than what it costs to deliver, they get those back, kind of like rebates. We call them capital credits. But I'm not as good as explaining this. We have a video, which is a lot better than me. And we're going to cue that up. Digital media specialist. Okay.
Our story starts back in 1844 in not-so-merry England, where a group of weavers, fed up with the high price of company store groceries, pooled their money to buy their own food, creating a new form of business, the cooperative. The idea caught on. Here in the U.S., President Roosevelt gave electric cooperatives a jump start with the founding of the Rural Electrification Administration, the REA, telling American farmers and ranchers, if you want electricity, you can do it yourselves. And they did. Rural men and women quickly began scraping together the $5 needed for membership and equity in the co-op. Up went the poles and wire and lines to bring rural folks what they so desperately needed: power. Soon, electric cooperatives popped up all across the country, transforming the way of life in rural America. Today, there are more than 900 electric co-ops in the U.S., bringing electricity to some 42 million Americans. So how do cooperatives work? First off, cooperatives are not for profit. Money comes in from members when they pay their electric bills. Money goes out to pay co-op expenses. A little bit is set aside for emergencies and the future. Any left over is returned to members. Pretty sweet, huh? But it's not just about the money. Co-ops exist only to serve their members. They have a unique set of cooperative principles. All may join, regardless of race or gender or creed. That's the first principle of cooperatives: voluntary and open membership. Members vote for the directors to lead their co-op. They vote yay or nay on big issues. Majority rules. That's the principle of democratic member control. Everyone pays a little money to become a member. An owner. We call that principle participating economically. Cooperatives believe and invest in education, training, and information. That makes them smart and sets them apart. Cooperatives stand on their own two legs. Decisions are made locally for local people. We call that principle autonomy and independence. But cooperatives also work together. They join forces to restore outages after storms, get financing, do research, and speak up in the halls of government. We call this hallowed principle cooperation among cooperatives. It's what makes us strong. And co-ops have a heart, a big heart. They help kids and industries and communities to grow. They give to hospitals and fire stations, ballparks and businesses. Cooperatives deeply demonstrate this principle: concern for community. Community's a cool concept. Communities are just groups of people. And that is the cooperative's secret ingredient. It's the dedicated people who work day in and day out to provide reliable and affordable power. It's the elected people who shape the policies and tackle the big issues. For the most important group of people, the members. Members, the whole reason cooperatives exist. Now that's the cooperative difference. And that's the cooperative advantage. Brought to you by the passionate people of NRECA.
So that talks about the business model. It's just a little bit different maybe than, say, JCPenney's store or a shoe store or restaurant, because it's owned by the members who need the services. You don't have to be a member to be an employee, and not all employees are members, and a lot of us work in live in Havre, and we just work up here, and unfortunately we're not all members, so it works both ways. But it gives you an idea of how we're maybe a little bit different. And someday you might be working for a nonprofit, or you could be working for a co-op, something like that. So you guys have done a little career exploration. It sounds like you've got some great questions developed. Does that sound like the track we're on? Is this the right presentation, or are we supposed to be talking about recycling today? Yeah? Oh, you guys, you might need to get up and march around a little bit before... Well, Todd will wake you up if Ben doesn't prod you with a stick. Well, let's hear from Ben. He's got one of the toughest jobs, but I think also one of the most rewarding jobs at any power company. And he's going to tell you how he got there and maybe some things about what he likes and dislikes. You can share it all. I'm going to switch this and give this to you.
Well, I'm Ben Marchand. I've worked for Hill County Electric for 7 years. I've been in the line trade for a little over 11 years. And I'll tell you a little bit about my job, I guess. I'm a journeyman lineman. And have you guys ever went home and flipped a light switch and the lights didn't come on after a storm or anything like that? Well, that's our job, to go out and figure out why the lights didn't come on and try to get power restored back to your house as soon as possible. And that comes from anything from setting poles with digger trucks, digging up underground wire with backhoes. We run numerous pieces of equipment. And was anybody, did the big storm like a week and a half ago come through your guys' area? Yeah, we lost a bunch of poles from that. So we worked in the middle of that storm through the wind and the rain and all that good stuff, setting up poles and lines and everything, and that's pretty much what I do, I guess, here. I guess I can show you some of our equipment that we use quick. I enjoy it. Some people say it's dangerous, but we're trained pretty well. These are the hooks that we use to climb the poles. We still do climb quite a bit around here. You guys want to look at them? They just go right on your leg, and then that little hook on the end goes into the pole. This is the belt that we used to wrap around the pole and climb up. So that's pretty much all that's holding us up there when we get up to the top. And these are actually the gloves we wear to protect ourselves from the voltage that's on the line.
Heavy, hot and sweaty. Imagine having those belts on and cleaning those clothes at this point.
Here at this co-op, we work anything from 120 volts, like what you guys plug your phones and everything else into, to 69,000 volts. We work that out of the bucket trucks. And we work 7,200 volts with the rubber gloves on.
Have any of you seen a high voltage safety demonstration? They fry the hot dog? Okay, we've seen one. Oh, you guys might have to come back for that.
Yep.
Do those too.
Yeah, we actually take 7,000 volts on a line and take it to ground right in front of you just to show you what it looks like and what voltage can actually do and give you the safety aspect.
When do you do that? How do you do that?
Well, I guess when is it? In the spring sometime?
Yeah, we do it for Youth Day, but we can do it for schools or presentations.
Maybe we'll plan something on Youth Day.
Yeah, we actually even do it for adults too because
That sounds kind of neat to see.
it's a special trailer that the linemen have to, it's high voltage.
Hot dogs then?
Yeah, we fry hot dogs and tires and all kinds of stuff.
There's lots of fire, smoke, and brimstone
Yeah.
going on. Whoa.
Yeah, but besides this equipment, like I said, we run backhoes, digger trucks, bucket trucks, so you have to be pretty good at running equipment and be willing to work anytime, any day. We work on holidays, whenever, just to try to keep everybody's power at their house. How I got into it, I guess when I was younger, I wanted to make sure that I had a job that I got to work outside and was fairly physical. And lineman was one of the first jobs that I found to fit the full description. So after high school, I went right into line school, Northwest Line College. It was a 6-month program, pretty intense. We learned to climb poles probably 5 hours out of the day, and we were in class for the 5 other hours of the day. And after that, we come out with a little scholarship, or I guess certificate, saying that we knew how to do all that. And I went around and applied at numerous different JTCs and contract companies. And I was lucky enough to get hired on back in my hometown, actually, in a co-op. And I went through an apprenticeship there, which is a test about every 2 weeks to a month, depending on how fast you want to do it, and 8,000 hours of on-the-job training to get through your apprenticeship. And then you go down to Helena, take a statewide test full of, I think there's 10 journeyman linemen that judge how well you climb, work on the poles, and go through your written programs. And then right after that, I got hired on here at Hill County Electric.
How long did it take for you to go through all the apprentice learning and testing?
My apprenticeship was 4 years, just a touch over 4 years.
But you got paid, right?
Yeah, yeah, as soon as you start working at the co-op, you get paid for going through classes and all your book work. So, yeah.
What's the salary?
As an apprentice, you can, depending on where you go, you can start at 40 to 50,000 a year, pretty easy.
Wow.
And yeah, depending on as you become a journeyman, how much overtime you end up working, you can go 60 to 80 to. I know some guys that travel all over the U.S. and they make over 100,000 easy a year. So, it's definitely a good paying job, yeah, if you're willing to work at it.
How many hours per week do you work?
I work 40 hours a week, just normally, and the way it's been going lately, we've been working more towards 65 to 70 hours a week. This last month anyways. Storm, yeah, go ahead.
How many hours do you work per day?
10 hours per day. And that's just normal. If we have an outage that comes in at the end of the day, we have to keep working through that.
When's the busiest time of year for you? Are you busier when it's cold or when it's like storms?
It all kinds of depends. This year we've been way more busy this spring with lightning and all the water. A couple years ago it was winter time. We had bad frost, so we worked through most of the winter with frost damage. And then if we're not dealing with storms, it just depends on how everybody's building new lines and everything. We stay pretty busy most of the year, actually.
Today is Ben's day off because he works 4 10s, and so he came in on his day off for you guys. Pretty cool, huh?
Thank you.
No problem. Yeah, I guess.
Do you even have,
Go ahead.
what classes would you suggest I take in high school to prepare for this career?
Ooh, in high school? Well, through the apprenticeship, you do a lot of math, so make sure you get your math and all that in. A little bit of science always helps with the electricity side. And I don't know, for me, shop classes were a big help. Learning to run tools and equipment and all that. Yeah, I'd have to say my favorite part of this job is probably just because I'm outside all the time. My office can be the Bear Paw Mountains to down by the river to the flats up north of Chester. We go all over the place, and that's probably the part of my job that I dislike the most at times also, is because we're outside when it can be 30 below zero or 100 and some degrees out. So.
Or when it's raining?
Yeah, or yeah, any kind of weather, snow, rain.
Is it scarier to work in the rain when you guys are dealing with the electricity?
Yeah, actually, there's kind of a limitation on how wet we can get if we're working the lines hot. We might actually have to go de-energize the line if it starts raining too much on us. Yeah. Any more questions?
Tell us about your clothes.
Okay, my clothes. In the last couple years, Hill County Electric had to switch to it for safety reasons, but my shirt and my pants are all FR rated. So instead of actually, if I was to experience an arc while working on electrical lines, most clothes will burn to you. Like if you have like your decal on the front of your shirt, that will actually singe to your skin. So we go to these because they'll actually just kind of burn off. They won't actually cause more damage to your body. Boots, we wear steel shanked boots since we're on the poles long amount of times. These are actually my shorter ones, but I have some that go up to my knees that I wear when we climb all the time. Hard hat, safety glasses. We pretty much have to wear these long sleeve shirts all the time. So, yeah.
How much does it weigh?
How much does it weigh?
Yeah.
Well, the hooks and the belt and everything, I don't know how much for sure they weigh, I guess, but in the belt itself, we have all these different pockets. And we'll load it up with probably 20 to 40 pounds of gear. All the pockets on the side hold all the different tools that we use while we go up the pole. You'll take all your material in your little grump bag, and then we have a guy on the ground usually that runs a hand line, and he'll send hoists and grips and whatever else you need up the pole. So it can be a lot of weight up there at one time. But as you can see, you don't have to be real big to do it. I'm not very big, so.
Have you ever been in like danger?
Uh,
Had any kind of scary thing happen while you were working?
There's always things that can happen. I've had a line break when I was in the bucket truck. and fall down to the ground and then kick the line out. But I've never actually been around somebody that got hurt by electricity, or I've never been hurt by electricity. But yeah, safety plays a huge part of it. You just never know what can happen, so you try to plan ahead for everything.
What do you see that you could provide as like tips on around the house or the community, you know, like if you see stuff, report it, or...
Oh, if you ever come across like a power line that's on the ground, you definitely want to stay away from it. Don't let anybody go up to it. I've actually seen lines lay on the ground for days and they're actually still energized the entire time until we get out there and kill the line and then fix them. So it's not something to ever mess around with. If you see any of it, make sure you call either the police station or emergency, or try to get a hold of your co-op, or Northwestern Energy does a lot. If you ever see an accident by a pole, make sure you call the emergency provider, and then never go up to the car, because that car can be actually energized. And I don't know, just stay away from power lines if you see them low, that's for sure. Just make sure you call somebody who knows how to handle them. Other than that, it's a really fun job, especially if you like being outside, or if you're willing to learn all the safety rules about it. It's a fairly safe job.
How much time a month do you spend in safety training? Do you guys have meetings and stuff?
We have a safety meeting probably once a month that lasts part of a day, but then we get sent all over the state to go learn more safety procedures throughout the year. We go to a big event in Cody, Wyoming, where they teach us different ways to do the job that we've done for years, a safer way to do it, the new equipment that comes out that we can use to make it safer. Because more and more lines that we work on can't be shut off.
Wow.
So we work the majority of them hot anymore.
So you pack your lunch every day?
Yep. Yep, we usually end up eating out on the job most of the time, unless we're around here at safety meetings and stuff. But, yep. Go ahead.
What classes would you suggest I take in high school to prepare for this career?
What'd I tell you?
You said shop, math, science.
Yep, math is definitely a big one through your apprenticeship. We do a lot of math. Anything else you want me to touch on?
So, do you do anything else that's related to work? Like, do you guys volunteer or get involved in stuff in
well,
the community?
Sometimes after work we'll volunteer, especially to use bucket trucks or anything that somebody needs. We hang Christmas lights for the hospital on our own time. I don't know, I helped coach one of my girls' softball leagues one year, so yeah, we volunteer kind of all over. So, and if our boss approves it, we'll go help about anything around the community. So.
Anything else you like about your job or working for the co-ops?
Co-op's an excellent place to work. I know out of school they recommended you go into a contractor to get more well-rounded, but this is one of the bigger co-ops in the state, and we see almost everything that a contractor sees. And you're home, unless you're working, you're home every night. We only travel out to the end of our system and then come back home at the end of the day. So to be home and get all those hours and get all that experience is great working at a co-op. Yep.
Do you have any women doing the stuff that you do?
Not here. I've met a couple at some of the other schools that we went to. One worked out of South Dakota, and she was actually a lineman also. So, yep, there's getting more and more. Yep.
Yeah, so there's not like a, is that the heaviest stuff you have to carry, you know, not belt and stuff, or?
Some of the material that we carry around is fairly heavy, but you can usually use a couple guys to do that. Or yeah, getting more and more machinery used to lift everything just to try to save our backs and everything. So, yep.
How long you plan on being a lineman?
Till I end up being done, I guess. Life.
Retire?
Yeah, yeah. This kind of job that I wanted, and I've enjoyed it for the entire time doing it, so until I quit enjoying it, I'm going to keep doing it. Any more questions? No?
Guys done asking